Welcome to Ready Layer 1, a crypto podcast that focuses on the Near protocol ecosystem, what's going on, updates, NFTs, news, and how it connects to the rest of the crypto space. This episode, Joe discusses Allbridge's integration with Near, security around crypto, and some basic crypto safety tips and tricks. We hope you enjoy.
Hey, Jared.
Hey Joe, how are you?
Good. I thought we'd kind of catch up midweek here because I think there were some really interesting topics in the crypto space, especially around bridges and security. Some interesting things have happened.
All right, jump on in.
Yeah. So I think the first exciting news is from Near. They released something called Allbridge, and Allbridge is really exciting because we've talked about other bridges in the past here, but Allbridge now actually connects Near to Terra, Solana, and Celo, and so that actually puts them now to 12 different networks now connect pretty seamlessly to Near, and this is exciting because again, the more interoperability that you can kind of move your tokens across networks, I think is huge, and that's great for Near to be able to have that. And the big one here is the Solana bridge, because we talked about previously, a lot of people are coming over from Solana, both developers and users are making the move from Solana to Near due to network issues and all different other things that are going on there. So to now have a bridge that allows it to, connect with both EVM and non EVM chains, and allow Solana to be part of that is huge.
So how does, like, as a user, does that work? If I'm on Solana and I have Sol, I can jump onto Allbridge and transfer it over to Near. And does it automatically convert to Near, or does it stay as like Near Sol or something? Does it like wrap it?
Yeah, no, great question. So you'd actually jump onto something like Ref Finance, so some kind of DEX platform,
Okay.
and so they'll handle all the heavy lifting for you, right? So they can now leverage that bridge, and so now you go onto Ref Finance, you have Sol, you can quickly within seconds take that and exchange it into Near, uh, with very minimal fees or anything like that.
All right, I get you now. And also Ref Finance, I think it just suffers from a bad name, but that is such a slick
Yeah.
interface with the Near wallet. Though
Yep.
they did in the early days have a hack and they had to
Yep.
return some money. That was like that we're talking earlier, like last year before Near was on anyone's radar, but they did have a
Right.
hack.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, and that's always the challenge when you have any kind of exchange or bridging.
Yeah.
I think the biggest weak points are always right. Like I, as a user, I authorize my wallet to someplace that's not I'm not supposed to. Right, that's a weak point because they can then execute code that maybe pulls money on my wallet. Right, so as long as I don't do that, my money is safe. As long as I'm smart about it, and how I connect my wallet, I'm in good shape. The next kind of big spot where the security maybe gets a little bit trickier are things like these exchange platforms where I go on and I'm going to transfer my money, and that's the same thing here where you don't really want to let it sit, and you want to really make sure that the transaction goes through quickly, that you then have it in a wallet that is secure, and that also if you have authorized your wallet to that exchange, that you deauthorize it and you go through those steps, and like then you can be safe. But yeah, bridge is always, because anytime you have some kind of conversion, that's where both mistakes can happen from coding, but also too their possibility for weak points. Nothing is truly completely secure, so that's always an issue.
Ah, okay, cool. When does that launch?
So it's already available. If you go on Ref Finance, you can actually exchange your Solana today, which is really amazing. Yeah,
That's wild. And also Terra. Like, man, the
yeah,
future seems to be these just like multiple chains that like there will be sort of fans. It kind of reminds me of a sports
yep.
where people have their team
Hmm.
and they love their team. I'm a Near fan, someone's a Solana fan, someone's an ETH fan, someone's a Terra Luna fan. Everybody's got their
Yep,
Oasis Network has their fans.
absolutely.
And you dive into that ecosystem, but for specific use cases might jump over to another ecosystem to do something, and just getting that knowledge around like, okay, don't use your main wallet, create another
Right.
wallet, now go take that wallet, you're going on,
Yeah.
there is risk in those moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the change of the mental model for people here is that, you know, again, rightly or not, most people trust, like, I have my money in a bank account, as long as I don't have my debit card doesn't get compromised, my money is safe, right? It's the same kind of thing here, except you don't have the bank who's supposed to be doing security for you. You are in control yourself. So there's pros and cons to that, right? Like, yes, I'm not worried about someone else being in the middle of that, but I also have to be the one to do the right thing.
Yeah, and for me personally, I love that about crypto, that I control my own
Absolutely. Yeah.
my own coins and all that. I don't know if everybody does.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, it can't be expected that everybody really wants to do that, and right. And so when we talk about like mainstream conversations of like how do you get this stuff to become mainstream, you're gonna have to find ways to simplify some of this stuff. There are too many steps that to get somebody going and to get people to understand it. So we'll get there. It's like any new technology, but it's really important that people are taking the time to learn before they start acting on stuff, because you are in control.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's all fun until you lose some money or lose I've had all those things happen to me. I've been scammed. I've lost
Yeah.
wallets. I mean, I've trial by fire. Is that what it is? That's what I've done.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's kind of what happens. And I think, and this all wraps up though, one of the things I wanted to jump on midweek here is because like we keep seeing these articles come out about different hacks, especially at exchanges, especially at some of these different coins and stuff in different platforms are running into really large hacks. We're talking multi-million dollar um thefts, I guess, of what's happening. And what has stuck out to me about all of these, one is obviously it's like, no, don't assume everything is just safe, because everything is new, and that should apply to everything you do in the world anyways nowadays, but because everything is electronic, but these especially. But what you're seeing is that it looks like a lot of these hacks are related to an exploitation of a smart contract somewhere in that exchange. So whether it's one of the ones that came out, like, so Polygon, they have a stable coin that got exploited, and that was, I guess, on the smaller side, it was still $13 million, but that was an exploitation of an issue with the smart contract in there, and so those are the things where, again, it's everyone is still learning, right? Like this, if I build a system nowadays, traditional, you know, uh, regular Web 2 architecture type of setup, you know, there are so many best practices about security. There's so many ways to vet that, to go through different security models, and you still might get hacked. Like that, there's nothing that's foolproof. Well, here in all the new stuff here with the blockchain and different decentralization stuff, there are the beginnings of obviously best practices, but we are nowhere near the level of expertise, and there aren't people who are truly, you know as proficient as you would see in our current Web 2 model. And so there's going to be mistakes that happen. Again, like, this is all still humans, doing all of this work and coding, and you're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be things you're going to miss. The biggest change here is that when I actually do maybe make a mistake because it's financial related and there is money for all of this, that a lot can be at stake and I could lose a lot of money.
Oh man, Joe, this is the kind of podcast that's important. It's not the fun glamour of like NFTs and markets and
Right.
pumps and all that, but it's the true, like, in the game, be very aware, err on the side of caution.
Yep.
I was going to ask about security. So you saw Apple released the tap to pay
Mm-hmm.
with their phone, and they're integrating, they say, crypto by the end of 2022.
Yep.
So this to me is was this everywhere? Like I feel like I didn't see it in many places. I saw it, but it should be really big news because a lot of people have iPhones. I use my Apple Pay all the time. It took to a credit card. And then eventually, crypto.com or Coinbase will have a credit card that you can use crypto to pay.
Well, Coinbase already has that.
Coinbase already has a card that you can use crypto to pay.
Yeah.
That can be connected to your iPhone.
Yeah.
And to me, I always say the hardest part of moving assets around is getting them from a bank into the crypto space because it just takes days. And like, you want your bank to think you're doing something shady. Try to move more than $10,000.
Right.
Suddenly they're like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Who are you?
Yep.
I need some ID. It's going to take a couple days. How do you think that'll affect security when it comes in? Because if it's, kind of cutting out, maybe not cutting out the banks because there's still Visa and all that.
Yeah, you're not cutting out that. So I think the model is going to be what Coinbase is doing today. So Coinbase is it's interesting. So I can have my different tokens in my Coinbase wallet, right? So I can have whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, even smaller ones like the Graph or stablecoin, any of those things like can be in my wallet. I can then pick what I want to use out of there. So if I have a transaction I want to make, let's say I want to use my Bitcoin, okay? So I go into my whatever store, it could be a coffee shop, whatever it might be, and I go to pay. It's translated into regular dollars. I'm not giving the coffee shop Bitcoin. What's happening is that in real time, they are exchanging my Bitcoin for fiat, and then making the transaction. And so that's what's happening. So what I think what Apple's going to probably do too is very similar of that, of like I can hold whatever crypto in my wallet, and then when I make that thing, it's that exchange essentially just happens.
That seems really cool to me. Like if I can start going to the grocery store, buy my groceries with like crypto gains,
Yeah.
that'll be a cool moment.
Well, it's potentially huge, right? In the sense of, I mean, again, I don't want to talk about taxes. I don't know enough to ever talk about that type of stuff. But like, yeah, if you are in this space and you are a true believer in the currency of cryptocurrency, and you say, I want to invest my money there, and I am putting, portions of my paycheck there. I'm doing all of this stuff to not have to worry about, oh, I need to be liquid now and I want to go do something, to be able to just on the fly, oh yeah, in my wallet right now, I have saved $1,000 of Bitcoin and I want to make this large purchase. Don't get me wrong, like there's still fees, right? You're still getting charged your fees and everything else, but the simplicity of that is key.
Agree. And just the fact that Apple's talking about crypto and their wallet in the same sentences or their phone in the same press releases
Yeah.
is so huge.
Yeah, no, it's huge. Now, I think what's important here is how this relates to some of this bridge conversation is that like that does not involve a bridge, right? So when I'm on using my Coinbase card, I'm not using a bridge. Coinbase is handling all of that. So yes, they might be using their own bridging in the background, but for me as the end user, I don't have to worry about going to an exchange or any kind. I already have that in my wallet. Coinbase is going to do what they need to do, and I can just go. So when we talk about security of it, again, my security starts to become as secure as my wallet, both my digital crypto wallet as well as my physical wallet of my debit card or credit card in my wallet, right? I can, I mean, there's been a million hacks all the time of people's, debit cards constantly. I think I've been through like 5 in the past 2 years, but like, so that I can only control so much. But as long as I have those things in my control from a security standpoint, it's a lot better.
Since we just had a good midweek hang and this is our first time, and security is incredibly important, I would say maybe one of the most important things about crypto that doesn't often get discussed as much because it is a bit more technical and not as exciting as, say, an NFT drop.
Right, right.
What are some tips that you would give somebody listening?
Yeah. First and foremost is like protect your wallet. So and you may have multiple wallets if you are on multiple chains. If you're on Near, Oasis, Ethereum, you might gonna have multiple wallets. Protect your wallet. Make sure that your passcodes for it are very safe. If you can set up 2-factor authentication for things, that's really important. Make sure you deauthorize your wallet from websites when you are done. And make sure when you connect your wallet to a website, you are at the correct website. That's a big one where people are cloning websites. It looks the same, it feels the same. There's maybe a couple letters that are off in the URL, and that's it. So be careful there. 2, if you are making a transaction, try to use a wallet that only has the amount of funds that you need for that transaction. So whether you're buying an NFT, you're going to an exchange, again, don't if you have a wallet with a lot of tokens in it, really be careful about that. Get a burner wallet. Wallets are free. Get another wallet, put only what you need in there, and do your transaction. As best as you can. If you are a novice, if you are not comfortable with this, leverage the big guys. You know, um, it's okay. I know people don't always have the best things to say sometimes about things like Coinbase and stuff like that, but really, leverage those, because they're the ones who are going to probably actually, be able to refund you if something goes wrong, because they have the backing, and they hopefully have made tools easy enough for the average user to use. So those, I think, are really good things. And then lastly, really make sure you are clear and read the prompts as you are making a transaction. People get caught up so many times because you're going fast. You're so used to and conditioned to click OK on everything. Just get me out of this screen. Let me get to the transaction. Take your time, read it carefully, know what's going on, because it's a little bit different where when I pay with my crypto wallet for something, I'm opening up my wallet, where if something is nefarious, they can take that. Where if I go to a grocery store, I use my debit card, the worst thing that might happen is somebody hack that thing, now has my debit card and makes a separate purchase. The grocery store is not going to liquidate my funds from there. That's not how that works. Somebody else, it's multiple steps, and my money probably is insured. I think it's not in crypto. You can't go that same mental model. You have to be hyper vigilant with everything right now. It's probably going to only get worse. But if you're smart and you're careful, there is a lot of opportunity there. And, don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's great advice, Joe. And as this series keeps happening, we'll be updating people with security tips and tricks for sure. And as the space develops, there will be more and more, and that'll be good.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, Joe, good to have a midweek hang. Talk to you this weekend, man. Have a great day.
Sounds good. All right, take care.
Ready Layer 1 is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose, or otherwise based on any of the information presented in this podcast, without undertaking independent due diligence and consultant